Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Dose of Disney. I'm Arnie.
I'm Doug. Hi, everybody.
You're watching us here on Pepper Tree Villa. Hello, everyone.
And of course, there's Mike and Judy and that Todd.
That Todd. Yeah, who remembers that line from Parenthood, the movie? That Todd.
That Todd. So.
Hi, Cherie. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to have you.
It's hotter than Hades here, so I feel very lethargic and bloated.
Do you have your phone with you?
No, it's in the other room.
Oh, it's Rob Fez is here.
Oh, I don't have the energy. I'm too hot.
And Cynthia.
Mr. Fuzz, I have something to show. Yes, we're talking about Space Mountain.
Yes, we do. We have
it's an amazing attraction.
We actually have a little show and tell for that one today.
We do have show and tell, so.
We have a lot more that we could show for it, but we chose one piece specifically for that item.
No horn. That gets too hot, yes.
Yeah. No.
It's 102 in our backyard. We have a little weather station. And it's 102 with 24% humidity. So it's really hot and really dry, which is a good hot. It's the half, but it's a little bit more where it's like opening up a dryer. You know, that heat that kind of comes out. It's dry heat.
Yeah.
But it's still very uncomfortable.
Hi, Stacy.
I'll take this over humidity any day, though.
Yeah, I would too. Definitely.
I don't do humidity.
It's just that my skin tends to really dry out, but that's third world problem.
Yeah.
First world problem. First world problem, really. Dry skin. Oh, well. It's May 27th, everyone. 2020. 212 days until Christmas. And to celebrate the fact that it's so hot, what a coincidence. It's National Grape Popsicle Day.
I don't get that.
I don't
popsicles.
Either.
Why not popsicles? But why are they grape? What happened? Cherry and lime.
I know.
What says there? Orange, cherry, lime, and grape are the 4 typical flavors. I always gravitated toward cherry, grape, mostly, and then sometimes orange.
Hello.
Those were my popsicles when I was a kid, when I didn't know any better.
Hello, Jonathan Chung. Welcome in. Grape is the best, duh.
Yeah.
It is good. Grape popsicles are not that bad. I do enjoy a good grape popsicle. It's been a while. And look, cargo. Oh, where is the card? Is the card here?
I don't know.
I don't have the card in front of me. Cargo, thank you so much
for the card. I put it somewhere. I don't know.
We opened it on Monday night on our show, PTV Live. So if you missed it, it's there in the opening. And
thank you.
Paul, that UK Disney couple, welcome into the stream. It is good to see everyone.
So, yeah, we have Space Mountain Show and Tell when we get there. So we got to go back to 1933 on this day, on May 27th.
Yeah, The Three Little Pigs was officially released on this day with the song that was written by a gentleman by the name of Frank Churchill. He wrote other songs that you may know, such as When You Wish Upon a Star. That's a pretty famous song.
That's basically the iconic name of the description of Disney. They always play that. When you wish upon a star.
Exactly.
They play that on the cruise ship. It's really cool.
I love it on the cruise ship. That's my favorite horn ever in the whole wide world. That air horn on the cruise ship. Oh, wow. I love that.
That's so cool.
I even got it on video, so it's part of our video of a Throwback Thursday video that I did a few months back. That recording during that thing, Carl Stalling was a composer that worked for the Walt Disney Company for a while, and then he went over to Warner Brothers and started this whole musical, renaissance for cartoon music. I mean, Carl Stalling is a genius. Just fantastic music. Most Bugs Bunny cartoons, the earlier ones, were done by Carl Stalling. So he could tone paint till the cows come home.
Oh,
he was great at it. But he would actually do some recordings for Disney. He recorded one of the songs for the Silly Symphony, The Three Little Pigs. So he did that. He just wants to see a live action Three Little Pigs. I won't hold my breath for that one.
I don't know about that.
The thing, also in 1933, Walt and one of the animators from the studio, Ward Kimball, they went to Chicago on this day. They went to an exposition, the Century of Progress exposition in Chicago, and they visited a lot of railroad engines. They had a mutual love of trains, and so they went to Chicago to go see that. Shelley Starwalker, welcome in.
Yeah.
1948, on this day, in 1948, the 10th animated feature from Walt Disney Productions was released. It was called Melody Time. Now, back in the mid-40s, all they were doing were compilation films. It started with Saludos Amigos and worked their way through Make Mine Music, and Melody Time was one of those songs, one of those movies. It featured short featurettes that were all combined together. This one had Once Upon a Winter Time, Bumble Boogie. It has Johnny Appleseed. Little Toot is in this one, so it's Pecos Bill. So, that's the Little Toot. We have a little classical collectible of that one, don't you? You got the classic collection?
Yes, I do have all of them.
Yeah, it's in his tchotchke closet.
Yeah.
So that was in 1948. 1961. Now, this is interesting. I know a lot of stars. They always get the latest stars, the latest and greatest on Disney specials and things to play at Walt Disney World. They always do it at Walt Disney World, never Disneyland anymore. But on this day at Disneyland, Benny Goodman was there for a 3-day engagement. He was there for Memorial Day weekend at Disneyland. My guess is that he probably played at Carnation Plaza Gardens. Man, Benny Goodman, what a talented guy that was. He played clarinet like no one else.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, he's Benny Goodman.
Very good. And some of his music was featured in another one of those mid-40s classics, Make Mine Music from 1946. So Benny Goodman on this day at Disneyland in 1961. 1965. This is a big one. I wrote down a lot of stuff on this one, so listen to this, okay? This is a headline in the Miami Herald in 1965. Giant land deal near Orlando revealed. And a staff writer there said that a law firm working with $5 million in cold cash had quietly engineered one of the biggest, most talked about Florida land deals in years. 12 miles southwest of Orlando, they bought up 30,000 acres of strategically located land that could become the largest industrial complex in the state. And there were a lot of theories about it. They believed it could be the Atomic Energy Commission, could be Ford. They also thought maybe it was McDonnell Douglas or McDonnell Aircraft, because they were building space aircraft at that point. Space capsules and things for the space race. And then something else was another possibility, something called Disneyland East, the long-planned amusement park that would be bigger and better than the original Disneyland in Anaheim. Walt was at Cape Kennedy several weeks ago, but denied that he was considering Florida for his new venture. Bankers and real estate brokers had been trying for months to find out what was in the works. If any outsiders know, they aren't telling. That was in the story in 1965.
They kept it until it was officially leaked, and they couldn't deny it. So now, that's when that press release happened in that hotel room.
I can't confirm it at this time, but if my memory serves me correctly, when Walt was buying up the land under different company names, including Reedy Creek and other things like that, they bought 90% of the land that they wanted in that area. And then the news broke. And then the last 10% was purchased for the same amount of money that they spent on the first 90%.
Yeah. Because they wanted to get this extra one, and it got leaked too quickly. So
yeah,
that whole grab was just stroke of genius.
That was in 1965 during Disneyland's 10th the 10th centennial, of course, for the 10th anniversary of the park.
And they're still buying up land, if you could believe it. There's still hundreds of millions of dollars worth, but they're still buying land around.
They're still buying land around the area, yeah.
So
1977. This is the big one for today. You saw the thumbnail.
I got my gloves on.
You saw the thumbnail. Doug has a little bit of
show and tell.
Show and tell for this one. Go ahead and pick that up and show this baby.
Okay. This goes back to Disneyland was doing amazing merchandise for its 50th anniversary. And this is a figurine of Space Mountain. Let me stand up and...
Yeah, this was from the 50th anniversary of Disneyland. They did a Space
And then
Mountain.
if you look at it, it's Space Mountain Disneyland.
It's a limited edition. They did 1,500 of these figurines. So I woke up first thing as soon as it was available on the website because I wanted to make sure Doug got that. I gave it to him.
Classic collectible, limited edition, 50th anniversary.
Yes, the gloves are out.
The gloves are out. So
this is a replica of Space Mountain at Disneyland.
Disneyland.
You'll notice that the little spikes on top look a little different than they do in Florida. That's just because this is Disneyland. But
cool.
The reason why I brought this out is because on this day, 43 years ago, Space Mountain opened at Disneyland. And there were 6 surviving astronauts at the time from the Project Mercury space travelers. And the widow of the 7th, the original 7 were there.
Yeah.
But the widow of the 7th was there. So, and along with Space Mountain, there was also something called the Space Stage or the Space Mountain Stage. It was an 11-seat, 100 theater that was open air. No ceiling. It was just open up to the top. So if you were standing in line for something at Space Mountain, you could actually see the concerts and things that were going on. Hey, Noah. And then something called the Space Place fast food restaurant. I don't know why they went with the Space Place because they already had the Tomorrowland Terrace, one of the busiest restaurants in the park.
Yeah.
And it was just a few feet from there. So they put in the Space Place. Never a very popular restaurant because you actually had to walk way in to get to the ordering windows. And then the seats were upstairs and downstairs. The downstairs seating is now used by Red Rocket's Pizza Port, which is now the Alien Pizza Planet. And upstairs, they converted all that into queue space for Space Mountain now because they got rid of the little conveyor belt that took you up to the second floor that was in front. It really felt Tomorrowland-ish to have that little conveyor belt going up to the second floor.
The land, yeah.
I loved that.
The thing is, you go up to the land, you get in, and then you go basically down to get into the attraction because you kind of weave your way back. It's completely different than the Magic Kingdom.
The mountain stands 117 feet tall, but there's also a hole that they dug out so that the mountain wasn't too tall for the whole landscape of Disneyland because it would have been out of scale otherwise. But so they dug out a hole to accommodate all the building. I love Space Mountain. It's if it's not my favorite, it is in my top 3 attractions at the Disneyland Resort.
It's the top 3/5. It is the attraction of them all.
I love it.
Just to give you fact, in 1977, again, they built it to scale and they built it for Disneyland. It's its own floating building, so everything around it we can rip it all out if we all want it. The amount it took was $17 million in 1955 was the total cost to build Disneyland, and it took 1 year.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years to build this, and it was $17 million for one attraction.
Yeah. So the original investment for Disneyland, they spent on the Space Mountain complex. So that's the restaurant, the theater, the attraction, the building, everything for Space Mountain, $17 million.
Best money spent.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love Space Mountain. Okay, let's move on. 1985. This is a cool one, actually. Ronald Reagan was president this time. This was the beginning of his second term, but his second inaugural parade had been canceled in Washington, D.C. because the weather was too harsh. They did it inside. So they kind of did a do-over at Epcot.
Wow.
So on this day at Epcot, they did an inaugural for the second term of Ronald Reagan. Of course, Nancy was there, and they had 2,500 band members playing from 16 different states. It was a huge deal. And Reagan even got there by landing by helicopter behind the American Adventure. So I guess there was a helipad back there. Another interesting little tidbit here. We've been talking about Disneyland. In 1955, on July 17th, of course, Walt hosted the television show along with, there were a couple stars, including Art Linkletter, but one of the people was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was part of the opening festivities of Disneyland.
And then fast forward to 1985, he's president for the second time, and he's now doing his inauguration out of one of Walt's, dream parks, because it's not Walt's park.
But so it was Art Linkletter, Bob Cummings, and Ronald Reagan. Right. That's pretty cool. 1995. Let's move forward to that. Now, this is interesting because at Disneyland, if you go up the street on Main Street and you look at the last location on the left-hand side, you'll see the Coca-Cola refreshment corner. Mm-hmm. And we've pointed that out to several people because they have red and white lights above the ceiling of the door entrance, and there's an odd number of lights there. So one of the lights is actually painted red and half white to make it even. But there used to be a Coca-Cola refreshment corner at the Magic Kingdom too, but it was renamed Casey's Corner. So Casey's Corner is now in the same location as the refreshment corner at Disneyland.
Selling your typical
hot dogs,
baseball park food,
and Coca-Cola and French fries. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Hey, Carlos, thank you for being here. And Mike, Mr. Sci-Fi and Fantasy Geek, thank you for being here. And Danny, I didn't see you join here. Danny, thank you for being here. Griswold Family Vacation.
No, I can't read.
Awesome.
I need my glasses.
Yeah, Doug's kind of blind with that.
I can read, but it's like...
So that's 1995. 1996, the Toy Story Funhouse at Disneyland finally closed. I was thrilled. It was looking shabby. It had been there temporarily after Toy Story opened in 1995 at the El Capitan Theater. And so they had what had been next to the theater. It opened. They took all of this stuff from the El Capitan Theater inside for the Toy Story Funhouse. They brought it to Disneyland in Tomorrowland, and they put it on the area of up above Space Mountain where they have Q there now.
Oh, is it in that building kind of area?
It was up above on the second floor.
Yeah, on the second floor in that one.
No, they actually built like a tent for it, and they had all sorts of different props from the movie.
Was it all outside?
Hey, look, Lothar, welcome back. Good to see you.
Gosh, wow.
It's
been away for a little while.
Good to see you, Lothar. It was called Totally Toy Story. It was an immersive experience that you could have. You looked like you played like you were the size of a toy. So they brought that to Disneyland, and it was there for about 6-7 months. And it got very shabby very quickly. So they finally just shut it down and removed it. So, but it was there for a while. I had fun with it. Of course, it had opened in November of 1995. And then they brought everything down to Disneyland. Okay. 2011, also at Disneyland. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. Mickey's Soundsational Parade did a surprise premiere the day before, kind of like a soft opening. Today was the official premiere, and it was the kickoff of what they called Disney Soundsational Summer. And it's because they were also going to be premiering new things with Star Tours, new destinations.
Oh, yes.
They also premiered at California Adventure, The Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure.
That was also premiered? They did the actual opening?
Yeah, they did the opening in 2011.
Because they tore down the whole building of Golden Dreams from the opening of California Adventure. They leveled that area and then rebuilt it on top.
Yeah, Golden Dreams was a movie. It was supposed to be an audio animatronic experience, like very American similar Adventure. To the American Adventure. But unfortunately, Paul Pressler, who was the president at the time, cut the budget and said, it's too expensive. We can't do that.
Let's just put a theater.
We'll just put a movie there. No one will know the difference. And that's what they did.
It was a cool video, but it's like you see it once, you never do. It had an amazing soundtrack, but it would have been better with audio animatronic.
Oh, Lothar, you have been busy working 3 jobs. Wow. Oh, it's good to have you back. Wow. Very good to have you back.
It's a very stressful time.
Yeah, it sure is. 2016. This happened at Animal Kingdom. Actually, the next 2 stories are Animal Kingdom. On this day in 2016, they started a nighttime experience. They had the Tree of Life lit up. It was the first time that the park was going to stay open until 11 p.m. And this is a big deal because the park had been open 18 years already and had never had nighttime hours.
I always closed it. Oh my gosh. I've been holding that back.
He's been doing a lot of work.
But it's hot. makes me tired.
So
I'm lethargic.
But Animal Kingdom had typically been closing at 6 p.m. Now it's open until 11 at that time.
I need my church fan.
But they did a nice lighting and soundtrack to make sure that the animals were not disturbed. So, but that nighttime. Then the next year, 2017, on this day, Pandora opened. 3 years ago, the World of Avatar premiered at Animal Kingdom. Doug and I still haven't seen it,
but we will.
No, still have not seen it.
Fans spread viruses. Oh, I hope it spreads all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. 2020. I'm sure you've probably heard the news. If you have not yet, Walt Disney World officials have proposed the plan for the reopening of the theme parks in Florida. Not heard anything. I haven't done any research on it other than seeing just the headlines, but they say that they want to have Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom open on July 11th. 4 days later, they will be doing the opening of Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So by July 15th, all 4 parks will be open. My guess is no water parks for now. And I think that there's going to be a limited number of resorts open, but I haven't heard anything. Look at that. Noah's not seen Pandora either. So, yeah.
Someday we will.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will. So, but the thing is that's all depends on the endorsement of the county mayor, as well as Governor DeSantis. But I'm sure Governor DeSantis will almost rubber stamp it because he wants Florida open. He wants people to get back to the state.
But be prepared to not have a full Disney experience with characters and parades and fireworks, and not every attraction is going to open up. Not every restaurant's going to open up. So it's going to not be a typical Disney experience.
Go to Disney Parks blog. There will be plenty of information there about the openings of the park, the proposal, and you'll be able to read all about the various requirements for opening the park. Various things will happen there. It'll be, like, of course, wearing a mask and social distancing. All of that is going to be required when going to Walt Disney World's parks.
So, it's going to be interesting how it is. And you're going to have your fans and your immediate people. But the comments, what I was reading afterwards.
It's just interesting. I've just said that they should drop the ticket prices. My guess is that they won't.
No.
Because of the reduced capacity. It's only going to be 25 to 30% of guests initially.
Yeah, they're not just going to reduce it for that. We don't know if the prices in the future they're going to do it, but it's just going to stay as is. I mean, they're going to give you an experience. But
definitely.
Disney's not going to cheapen its brand just because they can't offer everything. It's Disney. You pay it. They're just not going to offer everything.
And Stacy, you are right. There is no meet and greet at all. No fireworks, no parades, no July 4th celebration. They're going to start easy.
No play areas.
Ease into it. Yeah, no play areas. However, they're going to be introducing rest areas where people will be able to distance themselves and take off their masks and breathe and relax for a little while.
Yeah, it's...
So,
I've been going to Disneyland and Disney World since 1987.
Yeah.
And we were just there in October in Disneyland. And to be honest with you, I have these feelings that I know of it. And then going there and worrying about it. I'm not scared of getting the virus. I just don't want to have to deal with all that. It's just too much of a pain. It's very, very stressful. Going to the store. We went to Home Depot yesterday and we had to go to the store. They're actually side by side. And we're just going to do that for the little while. I was exhausted because you have to wear your mask and you have to make sure you're not around people and people running around and
make sure your hands are
always washed
and everything. It's difficult.
It's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but you know what? We will adjust. We will get used to it. But we'll take a wait and see with Disneyland. It is a huge pain.
It is. It's just, I'm far from being scared for the virus. It's just a lot of work out there, and I'm glad everything's opening up. Not that we've needed to go do stuff. Everything that we needed to do has all been like essential. So if we could go to the store, we could have done this. And, with online delivery, it's always been convenient.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird time. So who knows what it's going to bring and how long this is going to last.
Exactly. So moderators, thank you so much for your help today. Really appreciate it. You know who you are. We also have our support channels. Rob Fuzz is one of them. He's here in the chat. Thank you, Rob, for being here. We also have More Sunshine, Please. Two Real Geeks, the Orlando guy. Let me mention the Orlando guy. He dropped a video this week called The History of Orlando, Part 4. Do yourself a favor. Check it out. It is a heart-wrenching story that needed to be told. It's his ongoing series of the history of Orlando. He probably has about another 3 or 4 more parts going on. So it's not just stopping at part 4. It's going to continue on to probably part 7, maybe even part 8. But he's doing an excellent job of telling the history of Orlando. So check it out. That's on the Orlando guy. And the last support channel that I want to mention is D&G Explorers, and that's because they have a show going on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. They're going to be talking. It's a cruise chat tonight, so they're all about cruising. So
guess we have to support them because they're good guys.
Go check out Derek and Gregory on D&G Explorers. We have a great time anytime we watch them. There are other channels as well that are advertised, all on thelifeplace.com. If you've not done that, go check out thelifeplace.com. Dean is an excellent host. He's hosting about 90 some odd channels now, all of us providing various different types of content. And he puts a schedule together so that you know what's up on our YouTube network. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Daily Dose. We'll be back tomorrow with an edition of Life with Ben on Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern it drops. He's doing a Target run, so woohoo!
Of course he is.
We love Target. And speaking of that, Monday night, PTV Live, we're going to talk PTV Loves Target. We're going to talk all about Target, so get ready for a fun stream all about Target, because you know how much we love it.
I love Target so much.
Yes.
We'll tell you our little Target secret, which it's no secret at all, but it's not a lot of people know, and I'm always surprised by it.
Yeah.
We'll tell you our secret sauce between Disney and Target.
So thank you for tuning into PTV3D, your source for all things Disney history. We will go ahead and talk about, you know what? Mike is saying Costco.
We already did it.
We did Costco.
Mike, go watch it.
In our themes, you can also see us tonight on, you can see it, PTV Loves Costco. Mm-hmm. So yeah, check it out. It's in our archive. It's part of what we do here at PTV. We do various shows about what things we love, and Costco is one of them. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be going to maybe tacos yet?
I don't know. We might. I mean, it depends on how it goes.
Yeah.
But we still have talk. We can make it. It's just I don't know.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to be getting out of here. We've got some things that I need to finish off work.
3:30. So our time here in California land.
Yeah. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Have a magical evening. And have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow with another edition of the Daily Dose of Disney, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.